as a negativities in kwa and Yajin Bonnet Yama Real Madrid Adaya. And Madrid ball game. Among any Real Oviedo and the boy. Game Lancasa de Madrid SH2 Oviedo for 90 anti. Na Kylian Mbappe ever game no. I don't know. Said the Madrid fans nisi hura branche no. Wa we abeka say Kylian Mbappe kronsia kan emfa Real Madrid. Ni nyina branche di ball game na my point. Ya pro game no. And a branche di tu just oh. Ono say team na obo no kra. Ni coach Abarora. Aso say o he nim ho na 4 players no. And I say omo mu gina nim ho ebo game. Edema Real Madrid come here so no Madrid for na any coach na nkasa Abarora no. Aso omu rate no 4th. Na man for say a whole Kylian Mbappe 18 no age World Cup. Madrid the bare pants anu munya branch for Paris Saint-Germain. And Edward Baya den and Abarora say oh yeah the 4th choice striker awo Real Madrid. Adey akofan sempi edna ediaba ebi me fu say look Madrid no and say problem na ewum no the internal problems and say nya no bi kra na ye ka enso awo ayabonte no and em pese de share age medino enso asokovi me sha semfa emfiri ho in fact me ba studio I'm say George when now this video na chere me no Madrid training grounds are utimi say I don't know say Catelo say you Vinicius Junior on the boys are oh my god baby and Kylian Mbappe is in the boys and I was like really is it the Madrid I don't know the echo no it's serious
and my Josh and Shalati so no the video in the
so no problem Josh
yeah
video no say it was a training video right
yeah and
they na cause of Madrid team
on say there are so many things happening at Real Madrid and it is now that some of them will even come out for us to hear. To say they made a video on the Edge show and then you could see clearly that Vinicius Junior had a section of players are not omudin echi not omudin komo. It was a training ground video and you could see say ebi omo training wie and na omu free park no so. But clearly you could see there were factions. And Vinicius Junior and a few guys on one side, Kylian Mbappe
also in the boys
on another side. But if we want to analyze Asema AP after another game now, a lot of people would say, what both Alvaro Arbeloa Ekan and what Kylian Mbappe is also saying, it looks like both of them have had an issue in the last few days, in the last few weeks. Because I really don't understand a situation where Arbeloa Beba Bekachre Kylian Mbappe say, on the pecking order of my forwards, you are number 4. And then Kylian Mbappe comes to communicate the same to the public. And it begins to look like Alvaro Arbeloa MP on Kylian Mbappe as him.
And we can't draw.
That is, I mean, on the face of it, that is what it looks like. But a lot more goes into what is happening right now at Real Madrid. It is not just about one player creating confusion. It is about a misunderstanding that has happened that it looks like they are struggling to iron out their issues. So currently, Arbeloa Bekana Sema, I am looking at it that Kylian Mbappe has misunderstood some of the things that Arbeloa said. For which reason, his own interpretation is what he has brought out to the presser. And also Ekanasem to signify the fact that Arbeloa does not like Kylian Mbappe.
Okay.
And that is problematic because now that the season is ending now, Omadjiatum said they haven't done so well in terms of the performance. And in the same way, so Abekata, all that has gone on in Real Madrid throughout the season, that they have sacked their coach earlier on, they brought somebody else, Arbeloa, to come and take over. And the issues that they had with Xabi Alonso.
As well losing the dressing room.
Some of those same issues are still happening under Abeloa. Is a coaching change the only way to solve the problem? I don't think so. Because already, number one, it looks like the players on the player side, there's a misunderstanding going on there. Then also at the managerial level, there's also a lot of misunderstanding going on right over there as well. So Jose Mourinho now omoka se oba beji ejuma no. Rich, it seems to me as though the work or the magnitude of work that Jose Mourinho would have to come and do at Real Madrid no will not just be about bringing the players together and telling them that they have to work with him or trying to assert his authority in that dressing room. It will go beyond that. Because if in a dressing room there are factions and players don't speak to each other, some players don't speak to the coach, for which reason the coach says something and some players will take those things and misrepresent it in the media. Rich, Jose Mourinho would have to do a lot of background work before he can get these boys to come together as a team once again for the season to progress next season going on. And that is a very big thing. Very, very, very big job for him to do. That is if indeed Onuna Eba Bedi Ejumana.
Okay. Mate, Kidos Tax and Eda Coach Bio Babaji Real Madrid Ejumano. And to me, Kofi, I'm saying what ye George and Chichi Mono. What did you do? Video and they copy what Kylian Mbappe said after the game. Bibia Madrid. Until now, me am quite allowed.
Still, because me who video needs, I don't want to speak to it.
No problem.
But I think that for Football Club Real Madrid, problem can see what I've said. In fact, I'll share the last 2 days interview of Florentino Perez. I think that actually, you know, baby, Madrid as a club, which I think that for the very first time in a long time, Florentino Perez in a position at Madrid no. The influence may be winning. And winning in terms of, say, a soti or brofum. Enyesebia or winning. Because for the past 2 seasons, Madrid in winning Bibia. And so what you have here, Tabas have said something along the line, say, on winning Florentino Perez. Anytime you Florentino Perez teams ever struggle, Biano, then he begins to come in and do these press conferences and be throwing in things about Negredo, Monia, to deflate attention from the side. Rich, me Banosonomitie Gabi. Gabi made mention of the story of how now there was some Real Madrid fans that a banner of Florentino is part of the problems, no edit one, then the security kept on telling them to go off. You see, a bit me Abane said these are people that have been inspired on by the opponent of Florentino Perez. But truly, it also tells because 3 years ago, Real Madrid winning 3 peats on the sea money deal, the sea money signing mano. Nobody would dare take any form of banner against Florentino Perez or Santiago Bernabeu. In fact, Obian will be to me underpinning the importance of Florentino Perez in the history of Football Club Real Madrid. And no would take Kylian Mbappe. Osiano Kre. Nyemamwa e dia Madrid. But the Madrid fans really fee their Florentino Perez I am rich. Madrid fans ain't fan show team say Juma Florentino Perez I am on eso. And they may not get it from elsewhere. But for the very first time, which there are a lot of reasons to believe say there are certain Madrid fans, certain people in and around the club that feels that some of the methods of Papa and friend Florentino Perez can be questioned. Which for the very first time, there are reports that there is somebody who is willing to contest Florentino Perez. When was the last time somebody contested Florentino Perez brazenly in public? Edding. Because he is hugely popular. Or a president that will need a lot of success. In fact, some person Florentino Perez in common year and you want to do the magnitude of the person that he is. Clubs like Liverpool and Manchester United have won 70, 72, 73 titles. Florentino Perez as a president alone was 74. So in terms of institutionalizing a person, Florentino Perez is any panel. Or enormous number of trophies at Madrid. In terms of the success he has choked, Say trophies in Kwana, would they justify the importance of, would they justify success or club Ibimwa? Florentino Perez has it. Then away from that, there is no stadium 2 years ago. One club pen enable Europe only $1 million in terms of revenue of euros after the season. It was Florentino Perez. When you go to the Santiago Bernabeu, Rich, and you're even the Madrid Open, sometimes they play it at the Santiago Bernabeu, certain parts of it. Almost toss near the idea was here that they give it out to get money back. It is a huge operationalized system. And for Florentino Perez around a club no brady. There is a lot of revenue that comes in. It across multiple facets. Say a club, say a trophy, so say a body of park, so say a place, represent a club, no, and all of that. But here in Madrid for now are going to be a victim of their own standards. Standard Omangasa set in the past, and even not so far past, in recent past, and no nene in for the question because Madrid are known to win almost every season. So one did this season and next season BB. But for them to go 2 seasons without a single title, begs the question, say, maybe all my Florentino Perez and that interview that he did, for me, shows us that he is beginning to feel the pressure from the guys at Mark Canano complaining about from the Barcelona pro papers, like, and they okay in front of sport and rich. Sport for and for them, it's essentially about how as a Madrid Newman Kuya they can echo it, re-echo it, and also talk about the positives of the club. If you go in front of Mundo Sport today, they are written the front page essentially is about Kylian Mbappe, Rich, and they are talking about Mbappe issues and now Kokokai. And for them, that is the issue that's going on. That is where Florentino Perez, I believe, he said there are also certain elements, both in the media, in Madrid, and what have you, that are making the pressure much more enormous because you know who is a problem beyond one of them. It is a time that Madrid have gotten to, and then you mentioned Uncle Rich, Madrid as a club, Adiabako Wompe, and it says a wooden como ewo Spain crew there is going to be a slight thought, say club be a better ching especially when it's Barcelona. They don't want it. If you understand the dynamics of Barcelona and Real Madrid, it's essentially somebody that thinks that they are the overlords of that country and for a minority, but they also want to use their meager resources to always tramp and make sure they fight for their colors. It is a Madrid the furniture the and Yomako. Barcelona have won, I think, their 28th title or so. Now Madrid are on 36. They are closing in. In the last few years, especially in the last decade, Barcelona, for some reason, have constantly been winning the Spanish La Liga. If you take the last 5 years, Barcelona and Xavi are winning Spanish La Liga. Hansi Africa be winning. So if you compare just the two clubs, Barcelona have been successful domestically, Copa del Rey, Supercopa de España. Barca are winning. Yes, you may be winning in Europe and be winning your Champions League here and there, but in Spain, in spite of Nhyira Ekosi or Barcelona who need the amount of money to buy the best players, or say one out of best players, no, they are getting success and you are struggling to get the success. So just putting pressure on Florentino Perez. Menya shows will be better about too as Madrid president. Menya shows will be big with Florentino Perez as Madrid president. But what will happen is that if these things begin to continue to fester, one shiny year it will embolden more people to come out and say, okay, then we can contest Florentino Perez. Then we can push to ask questions about Florentino Perez. And then maybe these guys able to me one day to Florentino Perez FRDS. But stands down here, who is going to be the manager of Football Club Real Madrid? And the most important thing, Jose Mourinho. Also Jose Mourinho didn't come. But we all know that it's linking towards a bunch of friend Jose Mourinho. Say no bar. Next season, what is going to be the plan? If Madrid come back and they start winning, there will be no issues. But immediately, and some Mbappe can say, Abelu catching so a fortress, Abelu Ababeka say one casa. It is because Mbappe knows that Abelu will go. Mbappe will say Abelu Abeko.
So how some no can cry no? I mean, minim the above branching do all kind.
No, they are the downsides of Florentino's plan of running Madrid. So power ni baby will players inside that. It do maybe it is easy to disrespect the coach.
Because bit someone stand to on your regular starter.
Exactly.
Vinicius, yes, but Vinicius, I mean, you say there's no way Real Madrid will game.
Yeah.
Not Vinicius is available.
Yeah.
There are certain players who boom with I think those players they are not even starters. Exactly. And now in a pecking order, we have fourth choice.
It's Oshe do Nyoma corner. You can tell say on reti Abelo Abim, and he knows say Avero Abelo Abeko. See Avero Abelo Akko there. Then whoever comes in, he can fight for him. And also, Florentino Perez. Florentino Perez problem. But you forgot when Vinny said to him, I told you, it is about Florentino Perez.
Okay.
Vinny said, on Xavi a good relationship. He has been asked before. Vinny did not say that on Xavi a good relationship. Was only okay. On any problem. But look at Mbappe. Mbappe's on a good relationship. So there are some factions that believe that.
Okay.
Reported by Freemason say players be about Madrid. Omujiri say bimu enemy yi Xabi Alonso fio. Federico Valverde Edin was listening him. Vinicius Junior Edin was listening him. Opposite wise, I want Mbappe in the French boys and so on. He has to put his foot down and then give authority and power to the coaches to handle the dressing room. Yes, Barcelona with a united front to keep on winning, and Madrid will be in a lot of trouble.
I agree with you, Frank. All right. I'm in for a message in Rem Nafi and Twasso.